each week we feature a story from our amazing CBS News Confirmed team. They're the people here at CBS that help us sort fact from fiction. Today we're talking about travel and immigration, sifting through so-called advice online to get to the truth about your rights. So here to break everything down is Elora Mukherjee. She is an attorney, a professor, and the director of the Immigrants' Rights Clinic at Columbia Law School. Elora, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So what is it that you are hearing from people who are concerned, who are seeing these posts online, and what should everyone know?
I am being inundated with calls from students, scholars, researchers, ordinary people who are wondering how to stay safe in this very difficult and unprecedented moment. People are asking, should I post on social media? Should I go to rallies and protests? Should I travel? How can I stay safe? In terms of what everyone should know, people should know that the U.S. Constitution applies to them regardless of their immigration status. Everyone has a right to remain silent regardless of immigration status if they're approached by law enforcement officers or immigration officers. The First Amendment protects the speech of all people regardless of their immigration status. And due process applies to people who are lawful permanent residents and visa holders to a certain extent. So people should know that they should be taking steps to stay safe and that the U.S. Constitution does apply.
So that is especially important for people to understand because it's unclear for some if you are in a process of becoming a U.S. citizen, for example, if you are someone that has a green card or you're someone with a long-term visa, your point being that the U.S. Constitution covers everybody.
Yes, and the level of due process that people are afforded may depend on the length of time that they've been in the United States. For example, individuals who've been in the United States for less than 2 years and don't have a form of immigration relief available to them, they may be subject to expedited removal, which means summary deportations from the United States. But those who've been in the U.S. longer than 2 years and those who may have forms of immigration relief available to them should have a hearing before they are subject to deportation.
So, Professor, you're talking about people's due process rights, their First Amendment rights, but we are seeing in the news students, including former students at Columbia, who are being detained, and their lawyers are saying it's unlawfully. It's in violation of their constitutional rights. What should people make of what you're saying people's rights are and then what they're seeing happening?
The executive branch right now is pushing the bounds of executive power beyond that is allowed by the U.S. Constitution, pushing beyond the checks and balances system that is set up by our laws and our constitutional democracy. We are at a moment that is unprecedented in terms of the executive branch testing the limits of the judiciary. And in the coming days and weeks, we will see whether and to what extent the executive branch respects the law that is set forth by the federal courts.
So one of the other frightening aspects of all of this is social media. We know that Customs and Border Protection agents do have the right to search your phone if they ask you when you're coming into the United States. That even applies to American citizens. But there are some groups that are advising people to delete social media before entering. Any posts that may seem inflammatory should be deleted. What are your rights? Doesn't the Constitution and the First Amendment protect freedom of the speech even to these visa holders or people who are in the process of becoming a citizen?
The First Amendment protects everyone who is within the United States. It's more complicated at ports of entry, at airports, where your electronic devices may be searched by Customs and Border Protection officers, especially if you are a non-citizen. This is why it may be important for non-citizens to consider what is on their electronic devices, their laptops, their phones before entering the United States. And folks should consider what they're posting on social media and whether or not it may pose problems when they're trying to re-enter the country.
Professor Elora Mukherjee, this is really important information. Even stuff I didn't realize as well. Thank you very much for sharing time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.